Watching and there we go. We're live. The Muddle Lab post Origins. I'm exhausted. Both of you weren't there, unfortunately, but we all wish you were. So we have, of course, the most confusing two possible guest hosts. We have Canadian Mike.
Howdy, eh?
It's been a while, eh?
Oh, totally.
Busy at the Timber Maple Syrup Tim Hortons.
Yeah, I was at the Cabana Sucre for a while there, eh? It's been tough to get the time to come back and hang with y'all there.
And we have an American Michael.
Glad to be back once again.
Okay, we have so much stuff. We're gonna lose my face for basically most of the show. We're gonna do previews first, quick and easy. Not literally everything because they previewed like half the Batman set essentially, but we're gonna do basically all the official previews, and then we're going to jump into the meat of things. Although we do have weeks in review, I guess we can do weeks in review. That's kind of a thing I've been forgetting to do. So let's start with me. I played one game of Heroclix with some friends at Origins because I was doing board games, but working for What's Good What's Cool, and I finally got one of those shirts, very short. And we have the other Canadian. How was your week in Heroclix?
As you can probably tell by how much I've been on the show, I've been pretty busy with work, working on a TV series. So haven't really got to play much, but thankfully a couple of locals and people you know, Tom Kerr, other host of the show, Emily, who is Emily Rowett, who is a local, who's also been on the show. Yeah, who's also been on the show, and Devin Owens, who's also been on the show before, and both of them have had success at events with their teams, so their names are out there. We all got together on Saturday briefly to do a little bit of practice because we have a WKO event at the end of this month, and then we have Canadian Nationals in basically just under a month, July 15th in Gatineau, Quebec. Devin, Tom, and myself have all won WKOs, so we know that we are all into the finals there at Canadian Nationals. So, of course, we're really looking forward, and we're starting to figure out teams and trying to find the time to practice. So it was a practice event. I don't want to talk too much about my team just because, I like to keep things a little closer to the chest when I'm working on things and trying out different stuff, because sometimes I like to have a little bit of surprises. But I am trying to go back to my thematic roots, name theme roots. I do really enjoy having a +5 to my map roll every time and winning map roll in all of my practice games and picking exactly the map that I wanted in all of them, because I think it's pretty cool that maps have come back again and really, really have an effect on the game now. I'm really loving how much they're having an effect on the game again. Anyway, it was good games. My team actually won 2 games out of the 3. The third game we didn't get to totally finish, but within the 30 minutes we played, I was losing at that point, so I consider that a loss. But it was fun and it was great, and I'm really excited about this team. And it's always fun too when you get to practice with friends and people that you consider both really good players and good people. You have a really nice interaction in the game and talking about all the potential for stuff, and you really help each other come up with new ideas. So it was great. And I'm hoping that will happen again this coming weekend when some of us again, and I think Jay now is going to join us, are going to try and get another practice game in. But unfortunately, that's really it. So other Mike.
All right, well, I actually just got back from my Heroclix for the week. As he said, I obviously didn't get to go to Origins. Money and everything was just too tight. But I did just go to a winter break today. The format was 400 points. You can only use pieces from Avengers Infinity. And it was for Avengers Infinity brick. So what I ended up playing was Thanos at 225, the 150 point plus both traits, which is very fun, by the way. I played Infinity, who is so much better than I first gave her credit for, because the mobility on my team was ridiculous, especially because she's a Colossal and Thanos is not. to pair with them, he only had an 11 attack, and I really wanted that trait to go off. So why not play Chase Star Fox with his +2 perplex to go into Thanos' attack all game? And then 20-point Colossal Retaliator Groot evened it out to 400 points Cosmic Fiend Team. Round 1, I actually ended up against Jen. She was playing Eternity at 250, I think. Her at 90 and Kronos at 60. We practiced that a few times at the house. Basically, the gap that Infinity was causing was just really hard to come over. And then when she did try to hit me, I rolled higher than her and she hit herself in the face. So, and then I just kind of kept attacking from there, and she kind of just fell apart after Eternity died. Game 2, I was against a Infinity Watch theme team. It's pretty cool. It was Pip the Troll, Moondragon, Super Rare Adam Warlock, Drax, and Gamora. And they also ran the Stark car. Is that the one that gives the ESD? The Stark car terrain dial?
Yep.
Yeah, and they ran that. Basically, again, I used Infinity to my advantage to try to keep a specific distance away to where they couldn't reach me. Then I did open it up to where the only way he could do anything was to TK Gamora up, but where he had to TK her, she could only charge Thanos. She charged him. She hit. I probed. She missed. She probed. She hit. She hit with a 2 rolled, in fact, and I rolled higher than her. So she turned around and smacked herself in the face and then took the 1 damage and was suddenly on her last click because she tried to attack me. So I didn't want the prob power to go to Adam Warlock, so I specifically left her alone. And he panicked and used Pip to bring Adam Warlock and Drax over adjacent to my Colossals. So I just had Infinity pick up Thanos and walk away. After I outwitted Pip's super senses and killed it with Thanos so that he would lose his mobility. And then it just becomes me dancing around the map while he is trying to get points where he can. He killed my Groot, and then he got 1 hit on Star Fox. But then I based him with 2 Walking Woods because I gave him the Pog at the beginning. I put 1 on Moondragon and 1 on Adam, and he tried to break away, rolled a 1, tried to break away again, rolled a 5. And so he was stuck there with his running shot that couldn't do anything. And so I just kept dancing around the map and then just picking him apart. Eventually, all he had left was Drax, and it was just a matter of time until Thanos was able to kill it. Game 3, I ended up against a full point Hulk and a Hawkeye. The guy, unfortunately, realized once he had arrived, he grabbed the wrong play box, and that was all that he had with him that would be any decent to try to play with. The Hulk is surprisingly really fun to play against at full points. It's with that outwit protection. I never was able to outwit him until the very, very end. So I couldn't get through the invincible with my outwits because he always rolled a 4 through 6. I positioned myself to where with his -1 movement, because I won map roll, that he could move his full movement minus the 1 because of Infinity. If he quaked, he wouldn't be able to reach the Colossals. But I did specifically put 1 of the Walking Woods in the range of the Quake just to try to bait him. It did actually end up working. So then I just kept attacking him as much as I could to whittle him down. I think Walking Woods throughout the tournament crit hit 3 times during flurries. It was pretty great. 1 of them was on Hulk. So the Walking Wood did 2 damage to a Hulk with Invincible. It was pretty nice. And again, with the mobility of Infinity, I was able to just keep pinging them down constantly. And then once he got down to sidestep at that point, there really wasn't anything a Hulk could do to a Thanos and an Infinity. He actually didn't manage to kill anything on that game, I believe. But he decided to go out with style. All he had left was the Pog I gave him, so he pushed it to go into water terrain so it would drown to death. And that was how he decided to end the game. And at that point, I was 3-0, and there was no other undefeateds. So I have a brick.
I was going to ask you what you got in the brick, but you'll have to.
I haven't opened it yet.
You'll have to like post in the thread or something.
Yeah, because it was literally as I won the break. It's like, okay, I have an hour and a half drive home. The show starts in an hour 45. Let's get this going. But yeah, that was my week. So went pretty well.
Cool. I'm going to now give our viewers the wonderful privilege of not having to see my face while we share the screen. We're going to go over the previews pretty quick and easy. They're either very, 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 very good or they're fun, but not spectacular for the meta. We have the Suited Henchman with the Underworld team ability and the Gotham Underworld. Keyword, 4 range, 5 points. His trait is that he doesn't break, or he doesn't count 4 against a theme team, which is both kind of a drawback for the Gotham City Underworld keyword, but you also don't want them to have a plus 20. And then, in addition, when he starts the game, you roll d6 to determine the starting click. Each roll of a d6 determines the click number. They're all pretty decent in their own way, I think. Canadian Mike, what are your thoughts on the Suited Henchman?
Almost couldn't find my unmute button there. Yeah, well, I mean, he's 5 points, so fun, interesting. I mean, there's a lot of randomness to what you could end up on, though I'm sure somebody somewhere will find out a way to eliminate the randomness of that. So, hey, man, at 5 points, I mean, there's got to be totally meta potential there. I don't know. It's a figure, so there's all these things you can do and stuff you can equip to it and blah, blah, blah. So, and like you said, it's not counting for or against a theme team. So you're in a pinch. You got 5 points left. You don't want to put an object. You've already used all your ID cards, whatever. So,
that's the thing. Like, he lets you use another ID card and never breaks theme.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. He's filler for ID cards.
That's what I mean. Like, there's 1,000,001 possibilities when you come up with a figure with a dial for only 5 points. So
it's so easy now to fill. Like, what? If you play the tank and him, that's 2 more ID cards you can play on your team. Like, that's crazy.
And that's 13 points.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, of course, people are going to be looking at him. You're going to see henchmen around. And I also think he's fun. I mean, come on, look at him in the suit and stuff. I gotta say, before we continue with the previews, I was, I don't really buy sets that aren't really of the main ones. I am more and more excited for this set all the time. I loved Batman animated series, and I still thought I wasn't going to buy any. I am going to buy probably way more than you can imagine. Oh my God, I'm loving this set already. So fun and meta.
I actually think this is going to be the first set that I aim to collect entirely.
Well, I always, I have problems.
Generally.
I have problems.
So that's actually saying something for me. American Mike, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I mean, as soon as I saw him, I saw, 10 points for an ID or 8 points for a student ID. Like, he's going to be filler for sure. I'm sure now that Blackbird is around, you need to get as many bodies on there as you can.
Yeah, I remember throwing the Thug on my Quinjet team for extra theme bonuses as well as more ID cards. Yeah,
exactly. So why not do someone that does it better?
Well, considering that all the good IDs, you need like 3, because there's 3, 4 really, really good IDs, and then they all have student and headmaster versions of. So yeah, that'd be kind of relevant. If the Batarang object, I'm pretty sure this comes with a figure. So it's equip any and equip drop, like most of them are. 2 points, S001. So it either comes in the fast forces or with a common figure. And the effect is range. You make a ranged action, and you get improved targeting. Ignores characters elevated hindering for it. Modify damage -1. Make a ranged attack targeting a single character within 4 squares in line of fire and roll d6. And on a 1 through 3, immediately after resolutions, KO the Batarang. American Mike, how do you feel about the Batarang object?
I'd say it's pretty good. A lot of people kind of lost their stuff with it when it first got released.
Canadian Mike.
2 points that anybody can pick up to take to anybody else to suddenly have 4 range. Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's another object
Yeah,
we're going to
that's
see a
true.
lot
You
of.
can just and think about that. You can just wait unless rule of 0 works weird. No, that's a replacement range. I'm not sure. It's a weird one. The standard
it's
rules for
saying,
this game are so easy, but then when you throw special stuff into it, that's where you get messed
that's
up.
it. I'm just saying it says make a ranged attack targeting character within 4.
Good question. We will have to find out how that works. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's hard to be bad for 2 points.
Like 2 points. Yeah, come on.
I mean, what you if you have 5 points left over, you throw in a student ID card and this on your team. Sure.
There you go. I've been missing pin particles just because of the 2 point thing. So many times I'm at 298 and I'm like, man, pin particles.
Yeah, I hate wasting points. So yeah,
Right.
it's never a bad thing. Plus, it's also a light object, so you can just use it for the damage. Worst case scenario, it's not. It's good. It's good. And we've seen other equipment in the set. I'm not gonna go over every last thing we've seen, but the Bane's Venom is
Awesome.
very good. It's very, very good. We have Batman Beyond. He has 6 range dual targets, Flight, Indom, Batman Ally, 100 points. Batman Family, Gotham City, Armor Future keywords, common. Beginning of the turn, you may choose one of Blades, Energy Explosion, Incap, Steel Energy. Batman Beyond can use the chosen power until your next turn. Canadian, Mike?
I love him. I think he's fantastic. He's got running shot. He ignores hindering for line of fire. I could think of a variety of ways of increasing that range. A running shot flyer too, right? So he's also ignoring hindering for moving, ignoring hindering for line of fire. Batman ally. He's going to live on Wakanda when I get him. So I think he's fantastic. He's a great figure, and 100 points. Yeah, that's a hefty investment. That's a third of a build, but I think he's got enough there. Defense is the thing that scares me. It's a 17. It's never better than a 17 in a vulnerability start. So yeah, I'm still a little scared defense because that's a soft number, 17. But I still love him. I think he's great, and I loved the character in the show, and I think this is a great representation. I look forward to him.
Yeah, I think as far as sealed goes, because maybe we see some sealed opens with him because this comes out mid-July. I think this is kind of the best. This is like the power common because from what we've seen of the set, there is so much stealth 17 reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the few stealth busters in the set. So that alone.
It is a Batman set.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and energy explosion to deal with a lot of swarmier teams. So I think he's pretty relevant and sealed, not so much constructed. American, Mike, do you have anything to add?
No, I absolutely love it. I was a huge fan of this show. I'm a huge fan of this click. I will probably grab it in any battle royale unless I have just an amazing super or something because it seems really strong.
Yeah, I could see him being really fun with like a lot of Bat Knights also, just in case they do base you, get some empower action going on. Yeah, pretty fun. I'll definitely play him in casual. I don't think there's been a single figure in the set that I wouldn't at least play in casual.
He and Ace the Bat Hound are going to be best friends.
As in the show, yeah, fair enough. We have the Penguin with Gotham City Underworld keyword, uncommon, as well as the Underworld and Batman enemy team abilities. He has a trait that appears to be common on multiple characters. The Gotham Crime Boss trait, where he gets the leadership and mastermind, and when he succeeds on leadership, instead of removing the action token, you can generate a suited henchman. And then when you do, you roll the d6 normally to see what the starting click is. Otherwise, what you see is what you get. Dial, energy explosion, sidestep, bit of range, outwit, blades at the end, which is pretty good considering that they're going to want to be close to offset his energy shield. Probably decent sealed, but I don't really see him making a splash on the meta. Anybody else? Do we disagree?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be fun just to try to generate a bunch of henchmen, but
yeah, it'd be pretty fun. It'd be pretty silly to play him and the other Penguin with all the generating of all the things.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'll be a fun piece, and you could do some neat things with him. But I don't really see him blowing up on the scene.
No. Wonder Woman is a rare. She has Justice League team ability and the keyword, as well as Amazon Warrior. Shared trait amongst a lot of the characters. Justice League Unlimited. At the beginning of your turn, roll d6, and if you roll a 6, remove an action token from another friendly character with the Justice League keyword that's 100 points or less. I don't think we've seen a character with Justice League in this set more than 100 points, besides the Hawkman and Hawkgirl, which we'll get to. She has a special attack power, which is power. Choose an opposing character of the same size or smaller within 5 in line of fire and roll d6. If the result is higher than the number of squares to that character, you may place that character adjacent to Wonder Woman. And on any result, you may then make a close attack. Canadian Mike, do you like this Wonder Woman?
I like her. I mean, she's only 75 points. I kind of dig that lasso power because of her 11 attack and then being able to attack with 4 damage up close. She doesn't jump out at me as meta, which doesn't necessarily mean that she maybe doesn't have the potential. Again, at 75 points, there are ways of working her in. But I think she'll be fun, but I don't imagine her being huge.
American Michael.
She'll be super fun. Like, I love any of the clicks that have like a get over here kind of power. The the foot ninjas that do it, and then there's also from Yu-Gi-Oh! There was one of the Magnet Warriors did it. So, and the fact that it's no matter what you get to make a close, you can be adjacent to someone else trying to pull someone in. If you screw that up, hey, you still get to punch the guy next to you.
Yeah, she seems like a good enough rock age call-in since the ID retired, but I think that's about the only splash she'll have on the meta. But in casual, I'm not digging no top dial charge on Wonder Woman. I feel like I'm reaching for a different option for her, unfortunately. But she does look pretty good. It's a nice little sculpt. I'm sure she'll be fun for casual. Or fun enough.
See, I think the idea is it's like her lasso attack is reverse charge.
Yeah, and she has sides, so she actually has decent swing with it.
That's it. So she's not moving towards them. She's bringing them towards her. Because she's still getting a close attack, and she still ends up adjacent to them. It's the 5 squares are them moving towards her as opposed to her moving towards them. Reverse charge.
Yeah, her numbers are all very good. Lowest she gets is 10 and 3. Like 4 damage values, you can't complain. Definitely can't complain. I think she could be pretty decent for Bizarro tournament. But other than that, we have Superman with the same Justice League Unlimited trait, Justice League and Superman team abilities, Justice League Kryptonian Metropolis Reporter keywords, also a rare. Speed power that he starts off with, which is a charge and a once per game hypersonic speed. And then he has a damage power, which is leadership, and adjacent friendly characters can use Mastermind, but only for Superman. I think he looks fun enough, and I collect Supermans, so I can definitely see myself playing him.
Top dial bothers me.
The what?
10 attack top dial bothers me.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, if I'm playing a Justice League team, there's at least one of the 2 Batmans is going to have perplex between Shifting Focus and Trinity War, so I don't really care as much. But I do get where you're coming from there. I definitely don't think he's making a splash in the meta, though. Decent for sealed, though?
The fact that special move power is only on top dial, if he gets hit before you get to use it, you feel really bad.
Is that going to happen, though? Like, that's a pretty decent move, hypersonic speed. Like, I think you basically are activating it to begin with?
Yeah, I think you'd have to activate it first.
Kind of are forced to.
If you're not, yeah, you're kind of asking to never use it.
I think he's fine. Just,
Meh. He feels very meh. He's not a Superman that excites me. He's not a Superman that comes running the room and I'm like, oh no, it's Superman. He's more like, oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how the Superman in the show was. He got his butt kicked way too often.
Way too often.
Yeah, we've definitely lost the days where Superman was the big threat with rules changes and whatnot.
Icon Superman. Mm.
Is that it for that round? Yeah, that's it for that round of previews. And we have 2 champion figures in the one champ design, one champ chosen. We have Scott Crampton's chosen figure from his 2016 Nationals. Yeah, 2016 Nationals win with Clock King. It was the first prime we're seeing out of the set. That's not true. We saw the Hard Act Batman, but he was just fun looking. But either way, he has Improvement Been Elevated, Uncommon Prime, Gotham Underworld, and Suicide Squad keywords, which is especially cool because he was on the Suicide Squad in Justice League Unlimited. And that's a keyword with a lot of options now. He has a trait. At the beginning of your turn, choose one, generate a time bomb marker, maximum 3, within 6 squares, or remove a time bomb marker and give each opposing character within 2 squares of it an action token. And then I believe his whole dial, he has a movement power of sidestep and ignores characters for it. So he's basically ignoring characters, elevated the whole time. And that's the dial, 40 points. I think he has potential. I mean, he's only 40 points. And besides Brood X, like, there's no primes right now that are really important, so why not? American Michael, what do you think about Clock King?
He'll be fun to run on like one of those teams. Well, I guess he's a prime, so you can't run him with Anarchy. But just one of those teams that puts a bunch of stuff on the map that you have to constantly try to dodge. I guess the most recent one we had was the rare Thor.
Yeah.
But just those kind of things. Those are just the shenanigan kind of teams that are really fun to play every now and then.
I'm realizing now, I thought he had a Batman enemy team ability, which would make up for the 8 attack values, but I'm not seeing the team ability to make up for the 8 attack values. But yeah, given the maps that we have now, like the ROC Underground and the Star Trek, whatever, it's gonna be pretty annoying. Canadian Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like there's something there. There's some potential there. And when I hear Suicide Squad, I think of my buddy King Shark. And you know, I like having an outwit option to add in for that squad, especially only at 40 points. 40 points is good because that means Giganta gets excited too about maybe being able to play on a team. So I like Suicide Squad. I like the figures. I like the keyword. So yeah, I like this figure. I think there's something there. Not a runaway meta piece or anything like that. No, of course not. But you know, the right people with the right things could maybe have some fun with giving action tokens to people like that. So I like them.
Yeah, I think if you can guarantee your map roll, I think there's some stuff that you can do with this guy. Just too bad he's 40 points because these days, 50-point figures are so good.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been about 30 points, not 40 points.
I feel like given that he's a prime, he's just about correctly priced. Because he's definitely not supposed to be an attacker. Like, that's not appropriate to the character at all.
No, it's
so once you lose the outwit, it's like now you're not really doing much in the way of offense. Like at least with the 10 attack top dial, any character can attack. But when you get to the 8, it's like you may as well not have any attack value almost at that point. But that being said, fun little figure. Definitely should be quite fun to pull out on your local theme teams and whatnot. We have another champ-made figure. So this is the Team World's champ figure made by the 2016 Heroclix Team World Champions. So not this past year, but the year before. I'm a big fan of the figure because the keywords include Justice Society and All-Star Squadron. They also have Justice League, Mystical, Past, Police, Warrior. So yeah, this team really knew what they were doing. They got all of the proper keywords there. They ignore characters. They have the same Justice League Unlimited trait, and they have another trait. At the beginning of your turn, you may turn Hawkman and Hawkgirl's dial to the same click number of a different color. And when Hawkman and Hawkgirl will be KO'd, you may insert turn them to click 1 of a different color. Oh, click 1. I didn't even read that. Of a different color, and they can't use this trait for the rest of the game. Protected Pulse Wave. I thought it was the same click.
No, dude.
Oh my god, that's way better.
Right?
This is how duo pieces should be from now on forever.
Absolutely.
The reason they have that is because one of them dies, and then the other one's like does other stuff. And they also have a trait, sidestep, but for 3 squares instead. Modify attack +1 when attacking only characters without wing. I'm not feeling them for the meta, but they look so fun. And they have so many keywords.
I don't know, man. I think there's potential. They ignore characters for movement, so they're breaking away all the time. Anytime they bloody well want. With sidestep, that's 3 instead of 2. So that alone of the repositioning. Plus, they've got move and attack powers on all but 2 clicks.
And it takes 10 damage to actually kill them.
I think that's huge for 125 points. And if you're really smart, every time you end up on click 5, you make sure that you get to that first red dial. Because if you're going to end up on a click 1, I think you want hypersonic, precision strike, outwit, super senses.
I think for the actual game, you're going to want to alternate a lot. Because that charge swing with Quake and then Empower for other characters is really good.
Yeah, dude, that's an 8 square swing on a charge.
Plus, they have sidestep. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a 3 square sidestep, plus they charge for 5. That's an 8 square swing. These guys are great, man. I mean, 125 points, sure. So you're putting you're turning into a tentpole, right? You're tentpoling your team almost with these guys, but I don't know. They're great. And look at all those keywords.
What does JLA team ability do now?
+1 speed for move actions.
Okay. So that's
it wouldn't have really helped them before anyway.
No, the TA is really pointless. It's totally pointless.
If it was an S instead of the L, that'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. I think they're just amazing. I love them. Yeah. I don't think they're going to blow away the meta or anything, but I think
I will enjoy playing them so much.
They're going to be a lot of store games played with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's also nice to get a JSA option that's more than 25 points. So actually getting some dial length and not having to worry that oh no, you hit me for 4 damage. One of my characters is just dead.
Yeah, so, I gotta say, Jordan, John, and Kyle, congratulations, guys. This is a great figure. This is a really well designed figure. I love it. So you got literally everything about the characters, even the outwit, because of all their various generations of battle experience. Like literally everything here. It's perfect.
Agreed.
Just perfect. We have Chase Robin.
Don't get me started on this piece.
Okay, we gotta hurry up because we've actually been on. I guess we started late. Either way, Batman Family, Justice League, Super Friends keywords. This is the first chase we're seeing. Doubly so because this was a preview and the chase pulled at that Battle Royale Origins was the Robin.
I feel like that was intentional.
I don't know how much they can rig a break like that, but either way, Batman Alley team ability. He has a trait that appears to be a shared trait among all the Super Friends chases. So, sideline active. Friendly characters have the ability free if this character critical missed this turn or made the 3rd attack this turn to miss all opposing targets. Place a character from your sideline that can use a trouble alert trait adjacent on the blue starting line. Yes, this is definitely a shared trait among all the chases. At the beginning of your turn, if Robin started the game due to the trouble alert trait, roll d6, 4 to 6, deal 1 unavoidable. Another trait, when Robin's KO'd, you may choose an opposing character of 30 points or more. If you do for the rest of the game, when the chosen character is KO'd, generate this Robin on its blue starting line into that character's square. And another trait, Characters that can use plasticity modify attack +2 when attacking only Robin. And characters that can use plasticity modify defense +2 when Robin attacks them. So basically, this guy is just
on every single team.
There is literally no reason not to have one of these chases or all of them on your team. It's just a free thing that you just get. Groot makes this really crazy because if you have your Walking Woods and you're flurrying, you're going to miss some attacks. And he has leadership to make up for the fact that you have 0-point pogs doing your actions. It doesn't really matter what the dial is, but even so, just, okay, I missed a couple attacks this turn, or I critical missed, I get a perplex.
Yeah!
But what's worse is you get it twice. Because he comes in, then even if he kills himself with his own trait, he's KO'd. So then you choose a character. Once you kill that character, he comes back again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this Robin specifically is going to be the best of the chases, but he definitely indicates that they are going to be some seriously good stuff to get.
I can't. I don't know anymore. Like, so much of the game is on the side, right? Like, here we go. Here's a whole other thing. I don't have to spend any points on it or whatever. I'm just going to.
Well, it's funny. I just saw a post. I can't remember who posted it, but it's basically like we have 0-point sideline figures that could pop on the map, and we have maps now that cost points.
Yeah.
For location bonuses. Like,
are we talking about that today?
We'll mention it very briefly after this, but basically,
I haven't had time to study it.
We'll just give it a vague overview. But basically, there's no reason to not include this on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, heck, even just on his own, he's a 20-point perplexer. That's cheaper than the usual perplexers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The only other cheaper option is Betty, and she doesn't even start with it.
Yeah, but like Mike said, just to have this guy come in for free, and now you've got Perplex. Well, that's pretty convenient.
# power creep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that he's going to be in the top half of the good chases. I feel like there's going to be something a little better, but it doesn't really matter.
Seahorse better be amazing.
Oh my God. Aquaman on the Seahorse being the best style that he's got, that'd be pretty ironic. But basically, to get these chases, because if you're playing competitively, there's literally no reason to not have it on your sideline.
Unless you're running 9 ID cards.
Oh my God.
Which isn't impossible these days, but
I don't know. We just got that 5-point guy we talked about earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. 0 point. Yeah, so basically the thing with the maps is I don't have an image open, but basically certain maps, kind of like special terrain, you can pay points extra. If you're on that map, you get some cool stuff going on. There's one where you get like pogs that are basically the same dial as the Harley Hyenas from the Gotham Girls set, or like a Joker one. There's various Batman villain based whatever. And if you aren't on the map, you get a consolation, kind of like special terrain not being placed on the map. But basically, and I think some of them have multiple, and you can like stack them and pay whatever. So it's a pretty good point filler. But basically, I'm sure at least one of the maps will be good and have an actual good location bonus or whatever it's called. Because the only reason we know about them is because somebody took some half-decent pictures from the starter set, which actually has 4 maps. So that'll be a great investment, I think. Basically,
absolutely.
Location bonuses. We have the new open prizes that are not the Power Girl, because the Power Girl is first place, and then we have the other figures. So we have Impulse, Teen Titans, Young Justice, Future Speedster, Trait, Pekka Power, Energy Shield, Shape Change, Super Senses. Then he gets a special movement power, Hypersonic, as well as the option of Power, make a close attack, targeting a character within 6 squares regardless of adjacency. That's the dial. I don't think he's breaking the meta. He looks very fun for Teen Titans, but I think that's about it.
Agreed.
Yep.
Heatwave has Central City, Rogue, Suicide Squad, keywords, trait Flame Wall, Barrier. When he uses it this turn, he has free make a range attack regardless of range or line of fire, targeting one character adjacent to one of his barrier markers. After resolutions, the hit character is dealt 1 penetrating. So you get your barrier. You also get a little bonus attack on top of it. Seems decent. And then he also has Energy Explosion and Precision Strike that can target more than one character. starts with running shot and that special power. Decent enough stats, but I don't know why you're playing this guy in meta.
I think they're gonna be him and the other one are gonna be fun for like barrier teams, just because he can barrier them away from you, then attack you from the other side of the barrier. So now you're not able to prob his attack, and then you take a penetrating after he attacks. I mean, I can
That's
see
65 points though.
Yeah, not 65 points. Like I was thinking the same thing as Mike, especially with 11 attack. It's not that bad, but yeah, 65 points. It's really 65 points for a barrier guy who can throw in an attack. I don't want to spend 65 points on barrier.
Yeah. Captain Cold has Central City, Legion of Doom, Rogues, and Suicide Squad keywords. He has a similar trait, which is barrier, and then when he uses it, he has free, make a range attack regardless of range or line of fire, targeting one character adjacent to one of his barrier markers. After resolutions, give the hit character an action token. So it's basically barrier and then stunning blow. He has a special damage power, shape change, and then characters with one or more action tokens can't attack Captain Cold unless he is the only friendly character on the map, and then that's his dial. If his ID card was still legal,
Yeah,
you're definitely playing it.
it should be, but
Yeah, regardless, looks incredibly fun for casual, but I just don't see the meta being impacted by this guy. Anybody disagree?
no.
Okay, so that's basically all the previews. Like they open a brick of Batman. There's all sorts of dials, but like there's only so much time because we have to talk about Origins. We have the top 16 sheets, and unfortunately, Isaac's only 13, so his handwriting isn't the best. But he went 5-1 in Swiss, and then of course won the event. He played Sam Cap, Shredder Clone with the optional trait, Star Fox Chase, who ended up picking up Mjolnir, Giant Girl from each of the Fast Forces and main set, both at 10 points. Chamber ID, Professor X ID for Brood X. Did he even include the other one? No, I don't think. I didn't see him calling the other one either way. Wolverine ID with Wolverine, the only good one. Jean Grey, Age of Apocalypse, Jean. Carnage, Boxing Ring, and then obviously Sharpshooter. Sideline maps were WizKid's Office, Grand Arena from the Mighty Thor starter, and the Sporting Arena.
And Mjolnir.
Didn't I mention Mjolnir? That Star Fox picks it up? Thought I did. Either way,
it does have both Professor X's there.
Oh, okay. Professor X. Yeah, okay, I see it now.
A and B, yeah.
Yeah, I saw him play. I don't think he called in the other one. But basically, he has a lot of good options to get Sam across the map. He can actually carry with Star Fox, as he has 12 phasing, plus the 3, whatever. Or you carry Shredder Clone across. You have Sam plus Chamber is so good. Just bring Chamber up, poison kill a bunch of Colossals, and then Psychic Blast against one of them. Or you can actually use the Generation X trait, which is basically charge with 5 movement, as well as the Force Blast. Like I saw him actually use it to kill an opposing. What was it? Opposing Star Fox using the knockback from the Force Blast. So basically, good ID cards, a lot of good retaliators, a lot of good backup carriers for Sam Cap. Not relying on Overdrive or anything because he has a good phasing Star Fox. He has essentially 3 perplexes to go around with Star Fox. So he can like +2 ID card characters attack, +1 their damage or something. Carnage can make more pogs be masterminded onto by Star Fox. Star Fox can heal amazingly. There's a lot going on, but this is not a team that you can net deck, I think. This is one that you really do have to pilot properly. I got to see him play top 4 and the final game, and he piloted amazingly. What are your guys' thoughts on the team?
I like it a lot. I found it extremely interesting just how many Star Foxes were in the top. I thought it was really cool. I mean, it's not that it's necessarily a complicated team. Like, it's very straightforward what it does. Shredder does Shredder things. Sam Cap gets carried and calls in stuff, and perhaps Star Fox gets his Mjolnir and flurries across the board. But the ID choices and everything were very clutch. Like, not everyone was running Chamber, and that was his go-to play, was to get across the board early as heck and kill a bunch of Colossals with Chamber. He did that numerous and numerous times throughout the entire event.
Yeah, he killed all of Matt G's. Or no, that was with Shredder. But you can do the same tech. It's basically the same idea.
Exactly.
And with the both of them, you can do some serious damage.
Giant girl carry one, giant girl carry the other. Like,
yeah. But you do have to be careful. Like, Sam Cap doesn't have any reducers or anything. You have to be careful about her. You're playing against a Unimind. You have to be careful about being Pulse Wave with Shredder clone. The giant girls can die. They're only 10 points, but still, you don't want to be giving up points, really, especially considering how effective they are.
it seemed like Unimind wasn't, at least from the stream perspective, I did not see many Uniminds at all. I saw Dan, but
yeah, Dan. Well, the thing about Dan is that he only lost because of a roll
off, yeah.
And he did beat Isaac in Swiss. I didn't watch that game. I didn't watch any of the Swiss games, so who knows how that would have gone if they had to play again in the final. But of course, the second place team was really cool. Mm-hmm. Also, another one of those teams I think you really have to know what you're doing to play. This is not the point and click meta, that's for sure.
Was that the Jakar one?
No, that was the Infinity Double Groot, also Star Fox with Mjolnir team.
Okay. Jakar lost at top 4.
Was that Jakar at 75?
Yeah.
No, wait. No, Jakar was not top 4 because it was Matt, Isaac, Dan, and Abdul. So it was not. It was top 8 at best.
Okay.
I saw it. I didn't get a chance to actually see what else it did. But basically, Mike, Canadian Mike, what are your thoughts on the winning team over here?
Wow. It doesn't surprise me. As everybody knows, Isaac's a bit of a phenom. Great kid, really focused. And yeah, I'm not surprised that he has a team that has a lot of elements like this, but backup plans to strategies, like he's not stuck doing one thing per se. He's got multiple ways of the figures doing the one thing, multiple people to carry Sam Cap, multiple ways of getting Shredder clone out there. So, and this kid, he really focuses. Isaac's a good kid, man. He works hard and he focuses on the game and he focuses on his team and he practices them so that he knows. It becomes like muscle memory for him. So yeah, I'm really not surprised. And definitely I'll admit I wasn't looking at Chamber at all as one of those ID things. I'd sort of put him in the back burner and good, smart choices that were made in this. So congratulations to Isaac. I think he deserves it.
I think one of the coolest things was you could overhear his dad on the stream at one point, and he was telling a story that as soon as Star Fox was revealed, Isaac said, he's going on my Nationals winning team this year. And he had his team built like very quickly after the set was released. And then he turned around and went with it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing a lot about Star Fox, either as a Unimind Blue Flame or as an actual figure. Like, Sock Hampton was all over Star Fox, and after seeing him in action, yeah, I mean, there's just so much healing there, so much team support, even if he's not attacking. The taxi synergy with Sam Cap is just so good. I'm going to jump. It's not quite in order. I'm going to try and find the the second place team. It's hard to see. None of my glasses on. Warren. Oh, okay. So this is Abdul's team. This was a New Jersey top 2. We have Star Fox, Infinity, Unseen, Groot, 8 Batman, Mjolnir. 8 Batman brings Mjolnir over. He's basically the only option, having sidestep and super strength to actually pick up the heavy, as well as Professor X, Wolverine, an Iceman ID cards with, I guess, the obvious options of. Wait, is that regular? Professor? It says that's a regular Professor X, not the Brood. Oh no! Oh wait, yeah. Each of these IDs only has one option. Huh.
Interesting.
I'm very upset at seeing a lack of filled sideline. I wish he was here right now. Basically, Unseen does a lot of cool stuff. I mean, he has the long range outwit. He has the smoke cloud, which can either be defensive or offensive. In addition to Mjolnir with Flurry on Star Fox, you have the option of Infinity repositioning. Infinity helps your swing, nerfs their swing. 12 range outwit. Groups are obviously good. Leaderships are good. The Pogs are really good. Also with synergy from Infinity repositioning. And yeah, good idea options. Infinity's not attacking a lot, because if I recall correctly, it's 12 range, 10-3 or something, but can still call in these really good ID cards. Like Professor X to just screw with their synergy. But basically, this is also not a team that you can just pick up and play, I don't think. Oh, I should also mention Wakanda Map, Underground Cavern, and Chemical Plant. Oh, the pink one from Civil War OP. And the finals was played on Wakanda. And +5 Cosmic, because that's just what we're going to be seeing for a long time now. Canadian Mike, how do you feel about the Unseen team? Or I guess Unseen plus other characters.
Wow, I'm pretty happy to see Unseen there, especially to make it into the top 2, because I love the figure. I think he's a great figure. So I'm glad somebody else liked him and was able to utilize him and for all the things that I think are great about him. And I like this team too, actually, because it's very similar to a team that I have built in the Cosmic format with Infinity and Unseen, and with one of the chases on there with a Mjolnir. I think it's a great swing, and it's such an easy way for the repositioning, right? I mean, just simply being on the other side of Infinity, all of a sudden, boom, you jump that third square forward of Infinity. You've got a +1 to your range. You're flurrying with Mjolnir. Like, come on. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I like this team a lot, and I'm very happy to see that it did well.
American Mike?
The only thing I don't like about it is it's 8 Batman, right? I would have rather it had the TK one just to get the Mjolnir faster.
Which TK one?
Doesn't is it 8 Green Lantern has TK?
No,
right?
It's Running Shot, Energy Shield, Range Combat Expert. There is no TK. Oh, a TK Pog for 15. Are you crazy?
I was thinking it was for some reason.
If there was a TK Pog for 15 points, I would have already used the coating off of it. Okay. I would just play that 15-point TK Pog all the time.
Shows you how often I get to play, right?
But yeah, basically because you pick up the object with your move and then you sidestep drop it off, and it's a heavy. So this is basically the only option for non-TK.
Okay, I like it. Never mind.
Plus, it has that wit on top of everything. Doesn't break theme. I think. Yeah, I would have. The thing with either of these top 2 teams, I guess more this one than the other one. If you showed me this build, like if Mike sent me this build, I'm like, are you crazy? But that just shows the power of the pilot, right? Like,
yeah,
this team you actually have to play properly, and then look where it got him. So, congratulations to the 2 of them. I'm going to go over the rest of the top 4. Okay, there we go. So this is either 3rd or 4th. Matt G, obviously very, very good player, no doubt about it. Also, he ended up playing Isaac in the top 4 with their mirror Sam Cap teams. So he had Mini Shredder as opposed to Clone. Sam, Pip the Troll as the Taxi, Mangog, Surtur, Giant Girl. That's main set Giant Girl. Iceman ID, Jean Grey ID, Cyclops ID, Professor X ID, Pocket Tank, Sideline, Heavy Objects for Sam, Wakanda, Muir Island, and Underground Cavern. This is almost the meta of just pick your 3rd map as opposed to pick all 3 maps. But I got to see him play 1 game, and yeah, the swing is really good because Pip has a natural 13, phases, carries 2, which is pretty much all you need. Doesn't worry about special terrain. and the synergy of Sam and Mangog is just it's pretty good. And then you just sit all those ridiculous retaliators in your starting area waiting to strike, and you come to your opponent and they really don't have much of a choice unless they're some sort of awesome mirror. Isaac did manage to set up a sidestep with Shredder Clone to knock all the retaliators out in one, where he kind of split his team. Was really weird, but basically there's so much stuff and so much damage coming at you, like it's almost like you don't know what to do. I like this team a lot. I could see I might theoretically want to invest. I don't know if I would want to play all the 3 retaliators necessarily, because that's a lot of points, and that's 65 points in stuff that's sitting in your starting area, not doing damage right away. But other than that, I think it's a great team. And Pocket Tank, very underrated right now. I hope to see more of it because it's still very, very, very good.
The reason a lot of people are playing Pocket Tank again was, well, it was for the Barrier team or the Underground Cavern, but that's why you have both Professor X's, because...
But he doesn't have the non-brood Professor... Oh, he doesn't have non-brood Professor X.
Really?
No, he he has a very organized build sheet where, sideline, all... So yeah, he only has the Prime.
That's kind of
interesting. Weird. Well, that's why most people play both Professor X.
But he does have a Cyclops people don't seem to be playing, which is the X Factor version with stealth busting, who I think people are sleeping on.
Yeah.
He's on my sideline. For sure, he's on my sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well have as many options as you can until Super Friends come out.
But I think the other reason why Pocket Tank is really smart right now is a lot of teams we've been seeing people playing are really centered around like sort of groups. Jay. Oh no, we lost Jay. Well, anyway, a lot of the teams are centered around groups. You know what I mean? Like we're seeing a lot of the Overdrive carrying a bunch of people, Pip carrying a bunch of people, stuff like that. So people are staying a lot more clumped together. So I think Pocket Tank is definitely a smart choice right now. Throwing people around and 2 damage, nothing to sneeze at when you have all these support figures that maybe don't have damage reducers or only have toughness. So Pocket Tank.
Plus, there's a lot of talks of Bizarro coming back, and that's the go-to Bizarro separator.
Yep.
I hope WizKids is looking at some of the combos that are coming out, like the Professor X Pim Pocket Tank combo is just too stupid. Like, the fact that you can just ignore the map for positioning and then reposition your opponent's entire team and do the damage with a 12, it's really dumb. Like, I do hope that they're paying attention.
Are you able to Pocket Tank while doing a mind control?
Yeah, there was a ruling about it, basically, because there's 2 things happening that go off not normal damage combo. It does. Can't remember how exactly it was ruled. It's pretty dumb. I saw it happen. If you're on the underground, and your opponents, whatever, you can reposition their whole team 8 squares away, 12 attack, and bullet ball the blocking on it. It's dumb. It's really dumb. So
for real.
But and we have, hopefully, I'll be able to recognize Dan's team because he has the best handwriting. Oh, there it is. The Not a Surprise team, basically. So we have Unimind with 3 blue flames. Those being Big Thanos, Infinity Gauntlet Thanos, Star Fox Chase and Makari, as well as Lockjaw, Groot, Symbiote, Invisible Plane Dial, Wolverine, Professor X, Storm, Gene IDs, Pocket Tank, some light objects. Yeah, I mean, once you put Lockjaw and Unimind on a team, the rest of your team is a little bit more variable, but yeah.
This was literally the team I was taking to Origins. You knew because you had the Lockjaw for me for if I was going.
Yeah, that is true.
This team builds itself. As soon as you start building a Unimind team where you're going to put the 15 points into that, okay, I want it to be themed, so it's cosmic. Well, of course, why wouldn't I be playing Lockjaw? Oh, look at Groot, so we can have some it just really built itself. it's hard not to create this. Like if you go to the unit section of HC Realms, it almost builds itself while you're putting it all in. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
The other notable thing about this team is the amazing synergy you can get between the Genosha map, which where is it? Right at the top, because it's the most important one. Also, Harley's apartment has this, where basically, let's say you put let's say this is your starting area. You put the jet 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You sit here. That you can't be close attacked by a standard character at all. Like, it can be retaliated on. But if you put Unimind here, like, you can shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically, yeah, you could just shoot wherever you want. You're door hindering as it is. Can't be close attacked. And let's say they do have a retaliator. You sit here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, you can shoot the whole map. You can't be Wolverine attacked. You can't be punched by anything that's just a normal character without giant reach. It's pretty good.
You can't be shredded.
Yes, also that. You can't be shredded unless they spend all the time to blow up the terrain.
Which by then they should be dead, because you're going to be like going at them with the Unimind.
Yeah, Harley's apartment I'll also pull up just because
Go to anti-shredder map.
Okay, so this is Harley's apartment. Open image new. Yeah, so what's the yeah, if you block off of that, I think is what you're supposed to do. That like severe. I can't remember which one it's supposed to be. I haven't actually seen this played, but yeah, if you basically block that off and that off somehow, your opponent's not gonna have a good time.
I think it's you block off the you see where the green square is, kind of in the middle. You put the jet. You put it. Yeah, right there. No, because that's one square too many. It has to go on the in between.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Is
over
it 4?
Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Yeah, you block.
Yeah, that's
these.
where it goes.
Okay,
right
so
there.
they can't walk up. They can't overdrive move. Oh man, that is definitely not an intended interaction. But basically, that's one small element of the team.
That's why Pit Patrol has taken over.
You have one of the better players in the game right now. You have just these figures are just really just that good. Yeah, I mean, this was the team that everybody was fearing. And when you give it to one of the best players in the game, we talked about this on last episode. If you give an S tier player this good team, they're going to do well with it. And because it's not the hardest to run, it can really help with your longevity and your stamina basically in the whole tournament. Anybody else have any thoughts about this particular team? Anyone?
No, like I said, it's what I was going to run.
I do want to. What were the other ones I want to look at? Riddler. There's a Riddler. I saw somebody playing against it at one point randomly during my lunch break. That was great to see.
Wasn't there one that had Captain Kirk main force?
I think there was an Overdrive Captain Kirk. This was one I think. Yeah, I saw this. No, this was not one I saw being played. The Wolverine Swarm you see here.
There was a lot of X-Men Swarm at that event.
Another one over here. I think this is the one that I saw lose to Kenji in top 16. So 4 Wolverines, Lila, Darwin, Mirror, Pocket Tank, Professor X interaction as well. It's
someone actually played a Darwin?
Yeah. It is for us top 16. Warren. Is that it? No. But yeah, bunch of Lockjaw, obviously. No.
Which is now between 100 to 135 after Origins. So it'll keep going down after Worlds. Yay! And all the other nationals going on.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Canadians like that other Canadian on the show that still needs one. This was Kenji. I got to see him play. He lost to Dan in top 8. Shifting Focus, Deadpool, Cyclops, Main Force, which was very impressive and actually worked pretty well. Wolverine, Lila Moira, Boxing Ring, ID cards. The interaction of Shifting Focus and ID cards is kind of really good and stupid right now. So watch out for that one.
What's that?
If you summon an ID card with a shifting focus character and shifting focus, the ID poofs automatically because that effect doesn't carry over.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Where's the Captain Kirk? I guess we won't. But basically, there's not so much. It's definitely not stale. Like, no two of these teams are identical, even among the similar archetypes. You have some stuff going on that's different in every single team. So, pretty healthy environment. And there's not much happening that comes out between now and, let's say, Canadian Nationals that really changes much. Because I don't think – because Batman shouldn't be legal. I guess all the cons besides Lockjaw become legal, basically. Like the Joker ID is kind of a thing. Pulse Wave Thanos is a thing that you have to consider for your Unimind.
Starro, Colossal Retale, Cosmic, Mind Control, Triple Target.
From 10 away, yeah. Because it just says make an attack, so you can do that.
Oh, no, it specifically says you have to mind control the target, but can choose others normally.
Huh, so they even basically wrote it in there that's a range attack. Nice. Yeah, as far as the con ID cards, I don't think a lot of them are going to make, like, Banshee will see some play. But I think Joker is really where it's at, because, like, Chair Joker can kill an opposing Lockjaw on click 6. 13 attack, range combat expert, deal 2 tokens, push to death. As well as just, there's so many good Jokers. Harley Quinn ID looks good to call the title. I'm sure there's any other good ones in the set coming up. Guess you're not calling. I guess you can call on the Super Mr. Freeze.
The new Mr. Freeze is really good.
Right. That one I've seen, but can't remember what it does. What else is there? Two-Face. The common Two-Face looks decent enough. With if you roll double 2s, he automatically hits and does +2 damage, kind of like the X-Factor trait. But basically...
So do you guys have Batman?
What?
I didn't remember. Did you say you do or do not have Batman for Canadian Nets?
The release date is like the middle of... give me a second.
Well, the release date would have, if it's 2 weeks that it becomes legal.
No, 1 week.
1 week.
1 week. So...
No, this comes out after Canadian Nationals on the 18th. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no.
So you just have to worry about the buyables and winnables then, because those go legal on the 7th.
I don't think any more of the winnables besides Lockjaw are that important, really.
Power Girl for the extra action, maybe? Because it's in addition to leadership.
You're not wrong. I don't know about right this second. I think it's definitely a consideration in general, but in this moment, I don't know.
Who knows? It could be completely different, and a Blackbird wins nationals. Like,
it's not impossible, but yeah. Well, I guess now that you mentioned the Blackbird, those 3-point ID cards,
those are huge.
Oh, man, especially if you're already playing like a Wolverine, you're playing a headmaster. Like what on that? Let's say Kenji's team, he had 4 headmasters between the 2 Wolverines, the Cyclops, and the Moira. So, yeah. Well, plus I think like if you're playing a Sam Cow team, I think Moira's not a bad little investment to just have leadership in general, as well as to boost your ID card call-ins because they're almost all X-Men. So that's another free ID card on top of that.
Sam Powell's team was clever. It was an Eternity team, but it did have a Moira on it. So he had the X-Men keyword so that if he ever got hurt, you could do the retaliation with the X-Men call-ins because an X-Men keyword got hurt. Plus, then she would also now be able to bring in Jean Grey or Iceman or whatever ID for free.
Well, plus leadership because Eternity doesn't lose the tokens on that 1-point value.
Yeah, on the 100.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's a nice little combo too.
But yeah, so I guess looking forward to Canadian Nationals now because that's basically the next big thing for us and opens in general. But it's all constructed unless your store happens to be running sealed. So, Mike, what are you worried about right now?
Everything.
Just general anxiety.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say what you're going to come up against. I'm actually not. It's not that I'm not worried about Sam Cap. I've faced it so much. I've had people attacking me right up in my grill, and I've found that ways to weather the attacks. So I'm less worried about that. I still hate shredders because it's a frustrating thing to just have someone walk up to you and just do some damage. Oh, I just walked up to you and did damage. So it's always frustrating because the map's not huge and there's always lots of positioning and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's probably I'm more afraid because it is a big wide open meta right now. Like I can't just say, all right, I'm going to play this and this beats everything. And, there's a lot of options, a lot of things to look out for. You might think you've got everything covered and something else comes up and gets you. I saw that in practice this weekend. I'd sort of written off the tank for a while, and I saw it used very effectively this weekend, and we're seeing it used very effectively at U.S. Nationals. So, with all things, it's just trying to decide that what you've chosen to sort of be prepared for is what you're more likely to be prepared for, mixed in with, how do you feel about your team? I'm lucky again that the WKO coming up, I don't care about winning since I have a win. And I'm going to really use it as a good, solid place to try out something. But I'm going to be trying out something that's probably not quite. I wouldn't play it at Worlds. How about that? It's a team that I think could do better locally. It won't necessarily do as well on the large scale like that. So, yeah, I'm worried about all the things, all the possibilities, because you can't really cover all your bases. And I'm just hoping that when I finally say this is my team, that I'm actually choosing the one that suits me best, and I'll have the most fun, win or lose.
Yeah, I'm building now, and I need to actually get my qualifications. I feel like it'll be easier to get the team that guarantees me the in the constructed grinder, because it's 1 per every 4 people in the qualifiers, in addition to constructed out the sealed opportunities. So I'm sure there's some team that can just pretty easily get me at least far enough to be, top 25th percentile in an event. I don't know. There's just so much out there. Like at first I want to be like, Sam is just definitively one of the best figures in the format right now, but that precludes Cosmic Theme and Theme in general. So going second can be bad. But then again, if you're being alpha striked, you're probably not playing against a super special, awesome Sam. Well, no, if you're playing against a Sam cap, it's usually 50-50 for map roll. But, I mean, you can watch the top 4 game. Or wait, you can't watch that game because that wasn't streamed. But basically, what Isaac did when he played against the opposing Sam cap was that he basically positioned really well so that Matt's options were more limited in what he could attack. Like he used his Colossals to close up some holes and keep his actual figures well protected for that initial big alpha strike. So
that's always the key against a Sam cap team. And especially if you've got the office as one of your map choices, I find that's a great one to limit the direction that Sam cap's going to go and what things Sam cap can hit.
It seems like Underground is the go-to nowadays.
Yeah, Underground. Another good one.
Yeah, you can do some cool stuff with ROC Underground in the special terrain, because depending on, I guess on either side of the map, you can close out. There's one ideal path because it makes you waste the least number of movement squares. But then again, like Sam Cap team is probably wanting to go for some form of phasing now, so you can't really do that as much.
The one nice thing about Underground map, though, for the Infinity teams, Infinity has barrier on that 75 click. So she's able to plug up specific areas where they're forced to only do 1 or 2 things.
True. Feeling like overall the Batman set probably helps out Sam as an overall archetype more than anything else, because it's not like Cosmic will have any benefit from that set based on what would possibly be in the set with Cosmic. So you're just going to have a lot more good random options. So but that'll get just a little bit stronger. Whereas, I guess the if you're going cosmic, like the Unimind Lockjaw is basically the best option. Like even against a Darwin, there's some things you can do to mitigate your power picking woes. Like you just push Lockjaw to click 2. You do pick your 1 power with Unimind. You don't want the whole game, and then like get a Wolverine heal off, so you can just mitigate that, and as well as the fact that special terrain is so important right now. It's kind of crazy. Like if you have the boxing ring, you can pretty much guarantee that you never have to worry about blocking because you can just carve up huge holes anywhere you want, or you want to run a jet, you can just plug up whatever holes you want. So yeah, it's not unhealthy right now because there are a lot of options. It's just definitely have to consider a lot of different really strong archetypes, and you have to worry about a lot of ridiculously strong, but for different reasons, teams right now. So I would have rather been judging, to be honest, in this particular environment because it doesn't really feel solved at the moment, considering.
Isn't that the best way for it to be? That way everyone can bring whatever they want and see how well they do, instead of feeling like they have to play one thing.
Well, if you're in a field where there's defined best options, I feel like you can then get the advantage by being a good pilot. So not that I'm advocating for an unhealthy environment. It's just it's really hard to build right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Also right now I just feel like there's so many loopholes and so many exploits that really make for an unpleasant environment. Like I had after the national, well, not that day because they finished nationals at 10:30, but basically ended up having dinner with the 4 points guys. We were having this whole discussion about how crazy that Genosha thing is. Like it just makes certain things and game elements worthless. Like Wolverine doesn't do anything in that matchup, I guess there's not so many other close combat colons, but still like
Shredder.
Right, as far as the ID cards go. But yeah, Shredders literally don't do anything, but I'm not that concerned about Shredders having a hard time. Why would I? But yeah, there's a lot of. I'm hoping the WizKids took some good notes on a bunch of the loopholes. Like that Professor X thing is just
gross,
completely obviously unintended.
So what? Do you want them to ban Genosha or?
I don't know. I feel like.
And Harley's apartment and all the maps that are used to try to counter stuff, like.
I don't feel like you can have an option in the game where you just say close combat is impossible to use. Like we all know that close combat is inherently worse than range, but there shouldn't be things that just say you cannot, by definition, win a game with certain game elements.
Hey man, we put up with Faust, so you know. I was Fausted so many times.
Plus, you can kill the terrain.
That's it.
It takes a couple good shots, like,
but it's not permanent. So you know, it stymies you enough, and you know, I mean, it's like anything else in this game. It's like anything else in this game. There are moments where someone is going to have a huge advantage of you because their team stacked against your team, plus the map, plus like you know. And you're just sitting there looking, going, I'm about to just get spanked. And there's nothing I can do about it. It happens. It shouldn't happen all the time. It shouldn't happen easily, consistently, which it wouldn't, because not every team with that Unimind team face off against be centered around only close combat. So the longevity of it splits it up. So he's not facing every team where it's like, you can't do anything, which is what Faust was in a lot of cases. So if we put up with that, this to me is minor in comparison.
Can I just say how amazing it is that we're even having a conversation that close combat is relevant enough for us to talk about this? Like, it's not just a range battle anymore. Close combat pieces are a thing in competitive play.
Yeah. I mean, just think of it, the shift that happened of actually being able to pick up your guys and move them on a turn, and sometimes not even take an action that turn and wait a whole turn and still not be decimated. Like it used to be like TK Hypersonic, you know, TK running shot. It was those kind of things. Like, I'm going to throw a guy out, and then he's going to run and hit a guy. And like, it really shifted to this more spread out team counterbalance. You know, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Just as far as my original point goes, just to close that one up, it is definitely hard to fix certain loopholes rather than others. Like, you definitely have a hard time fixing special terrain issues with certain maps, but I definitely feel like other ones could definitely be looked at more, like that Professor X one.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
There is stuff that combos well in this game. Like, you know, I'm sure there are characters that come out 5 sets apart and they just work really well together. But when you have a figure that just does one thing and then happens to work so perfectly well in an almost unintended way with another game element, and that just ignores the map. Like, I feel like the problem with the meta right now is that, like, everything you can do just breaks the game rules effectively. Like Sam Cap with no action after taxi. Shredder's just damaging for no reason.
I hate Shredders.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. But basically, very good environment. There's just a couple little things that we could enjoy being tweaked. But yeah, that was a lot of talk. It is getting very late, so we are going to move on to questions off of Facebook. We have Charles L. Franklin asks, just getting my refresh. Hey guys, sorry for not contributing for a while. My question is there a Doc Green or the Oriental Hulk figures? Doc Green, no, I don't know what he means by Oriental Hulk.
Oni Hulk? No.
If he means Amadeus Cho, yes. In Avengers Defenders War, the super rare Hulk from that set. But I'm not quite sure what you mean by that one. Lucas Tom Van Holland asks, what's reasonable driving distance for an event? I just drove 16 hours to Origins and feel like I'm going to die. 32 hours in the car is such a long time. No way I drive to Philadelphia. I feel like the 8-hour range is my upper limit. Like, that's Origins for me. That's a bunch of states that I would want to go to. But anything more than that, that's a flight. Like, I fly to Atlanta. But
I think the most I did was 9 or 10 that it took us to get to Philly that time. I think it was about 9. So that's probably the most I would really be able to handle, especially because I'm usually one of the people driving, if not doing all the driving. So, yeah, that's tough.
I do the entire drive to Origins each year. It's a 13-hour drive.
What?
Yep.
The most I've done in a day was the back and forth to Ottawa on the same day.
Oof.
That was hard. That was a hard one. We went in early in the morning, played the WKO, and then came home.
I remember one of those. I got home at like 3 in the morning. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was tiring.
Have you had one of those where you just have to pull into a gas station and crash for like 30 minutes before you can keep going?
I have not experienced that one. My driving has been pretty reasonable. Usually the Michigan trips.
Not from coming from a Heroclix event, but yes, I've done a lot of out-of-town shooting where I've been driving home very late and I've had to sleep in the car. Good times.
The things we do for the things we love.
We are crazy people playing the game and committing way too much to it.
Damn that little plastic crack.
Right?
Plastic crack. It's good. It's good stuff. Michael Fedor, the original patron, asks, with the new Giant Girl Fast Forces or set pieces being awesome, do you think players will be making a ton more Avengers teams in the future?
Yes.
Well, it is worth noting that I think the best placement an Avengers Giant Girl Swarm got was top 16. So it was a presence, but I don't think it was the be-all and end-all that everybody thought it was going to be necessarily.
I'm sure people will obviously look at Avengers more because they want to play a giant girl. They want to try and make theme to get their map choice. and at being able to play her at 10 points or 20 or 30 or you know what I mean makes it really easy to build because you're just really building everything else and then going, oh, what do I got left? I got 20 points left. Okay, giant girl at 20 points. You know, so whether or not we'll see a flood of them on the meta, I'm going to say no, only because I don't think there's enough Avengers pieces that are legal now with the current retirement to really make balanced teams. I would have said you'd more likely see that if we still had if we still had Age of Ultron, yeah, for sure, right? Because I love that Captain America from the Fast Forces that allows you to move half for free. Oh my god, I played him recently with the 2x2 350 point Hulk, and it was it's ridiculous. So much fun. I just kept quaking all over the place. It was way too much fun to be legal in this game. But no, I don't think we'll see it so much flooding the scene per se, because like I said, I don't think there's enough point cost effective Avengers figures to make a lot of good meta teams, but I do think people will build more with it because of the versatility of Giant Girl.
That being said, don't be surprised if at least at the WizKid Open you go against the 30 Giant Girl team.
Sure. Why wouldn't you? And that is theoretically an Avengers team.
That will win map.
Yeah, that'll win map.
And will put you on Genosha.
It is such a good thing that arcade isn't legal anymore to just make your brain explode. Like, where happened to my plus 30? We did see some interesting Avengers related stuff happening soon. Like we had that Game Trade magazine showed Black Panther with the gauntlet. We saw Avengers 1 million BC or 1 something BC.
1 million BC.
And that includes Odin, from what I've been told. So
it's Odin with Mjolnir. It is Agamotto himself. It is Ghost Rider riding a mammoth.
And Phoenix Force manifested in a person.
Yep, it's a Phoenix and a chick that looks just like Jean Grey, because why wouldn't it? The original Immortal Iron Fist and some Hulk-looking guy that I don't actually know who that one is.
Cool.
But yeah, wait on those. We have 2 Marvel sets coming up, and maybe EarthX. Oh yeah, EarthX is a thing that we didn't mention, but EarthX, Tom, why aren't you on this episode? You'd be so happy. Where are you? Come on.
That Con LE might jump in price depending because of that set now.
Yeah, I remember when they announced the Daredevil, I was like, so that has to be EarthX, right? Because like, what else do you do with a Daredevil? And I'm like, darn, it wasn't EarthX. But I was like, oh, okay. I see why. I see what you did there.
I'm assuming 1 million BC is going to be a subset in the EarthX set.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't quite gotten that confirmed or denied in the solicit. I don't think it mentioned something specifically, but
Ultra Chase is going to be in it.
Yes, but at the very least, the Ultra Chases we've had so far were not meta at all. So,
hey, Easton, didn't he win with the Unicorn?
Did he?
I know he took it to something competitive at one point just to do it.
Right, but at no point when the Unicorn existed was that actually going to be a viable thing.
Nah.
But point being, they haven't made an Ultra Chase that was meta yet, so hopefully they continue. We're going to move on to the YouTube questions, but before we do, I just want to quickly plug the Patreon. Unfortunately, I'm not using my own computer, so I don't have access to that right this second. But if you donate at least $1 a month to the Patreon, you have access to our patron exclusive Discord, as well as the patron hangout that is every month, and you can hang out with Jason and Amber.
Oh, there.
So that's a pretty cool thing that you can do. You can talk to us on Discord all the time. It's fun. So we have YouTube questions. Happy Little Heroclix asks, what allows Professor X to mind control to move an opposing force and use a tank? The tank ruling on the win, since it's one or the other. We are going to pull up the rules forum. Where is it? Pin pocket tank. So the question is, can a character choose to modify its attack -1 with a thin pocket tank, blah, 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 when making an attack with mind control? The answer is yes. Both effects allow you to do something instead of normal damage. The active player will need to choose which effect to resolve, as once you are applying the instead effect, you are no longer dealing normal damage. Since normal damage is no longer being dealt, the other instead effect can no longer be applied. So basically, they confirmed yes, you can.
No,
choose.
so that's saying one or the other. You don't get both.
Right. You don't get to do the mind control stuff.
Yeah.
Like when Professor X does that thing, he will only do the tank damage or the mind control. Obviously, if you're using the tank, you're intending to use the tank. But, yeah. Starting over podcast, Edward Shelton asks, how many X-Men teams will be showing up in the future with the Blackbird around? A lot. A lot. William Dickey asks, are you excited for Canadian Nats? What teams do you least want to see? Just in general, Shredders, I just don't like the mechanic. It's not anything related to the subject or the license. I have nothing against the TMNT stuff or Shredder in general. I really like the original Shredder dial. It was really fun. But I just don't like the mechanic where you could just do damage for no, like you just happens. Like yeah. I don't see how that's a thing in the game right now.
Yeah, I got to agree. It's actually the thing that bothers me the most. Everything else is at least controlled or situational or die roll or whatever. It's just so here I am. I'm next to you. Take damage.
I don't want to say the word no skill because that's not by any means. You have to know how to play the team correctly. But at the same time, other teams have to position and prepare with probs and perplexes and outwits and all these other things. And you just go, walk up, get carried away, walk back up, get carried away, walk back up again. Oh, cool, you're dead.
Like we already had this problem with the GCPD cruisers.
Yep.
To be fair, Invincible didn't exist then, so it was differently bad for the time, but that was errated because that is not a thing that should happen in the game. But you never know. Watch lists could happen. We've seen them happen and get some surprise characters on there, like Jakeem's not on the watch list, but being watch listed. So who knows? We have. What was the surprise figure that jumped out at each of you during Origins? Star Fox on Main Force, I would say. Like, I saw the potential, but I didn't quite see it until I saw it in action.
I didn't expect as many. Like, I knew it was good, but I didn't expect as many of it.
I was surprised by multiple Wolverine Swarm teams that I saw.
They were so good, though.
I was just surprised to really see that many of them. I mean, I know it's a lot of attacks and a lot of potential damage. It's just, wow. There was a lot of people who were all on the Wolverine tip. So.
PJ, half of his matchups were against X-Men Swarm, and he went like half and half.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he said he played against like 14 Wolverines through Swiss, so 6 rounds.
Crazy.
We have any more questions? Where do you ask questions on Facebook? The Married with Clixed Facebook page will have a post that asks, or that says the Meta Live will be live, blah, blah, blah. If you have questions, post here. And someone points out, yeah, you can post questions as well in the YouTube live chat, but please put all caps question in the post somewhere so I can see it because there's a lot of comments sometimes. But that being said, we've gone on for quite some time. It is just a little bit late. So we will do the ad read. We have sponsors including MajesticCCG.com. Check out their eBay store and their online store. Also, check out the premium site, MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. They have lots of great articles from the great minds at Heroclix. PJ contributes regularly. I have my fringe articles every so often. There are other great players who post stuff regularly, including Pat, Easton, Adam Friedman, George, Jason, sometimes. Very rare sometimes, but it's been known to happen. We're also supported by the ROC, and they have their website up at roc.islandsuite.com. If you want to host a ROC, they have a section for that. You can keep up with the news and track all of the various Heroclix podcasts and content creators in the section for that on the site. As we sign off on this week's Meta Lab, always remember that practice makes your team better, and have a good night.